Alright guys, hope you all had a good weekend and you're keeping safe. Yesterday we had the Ubisoft Forward event, and a couple of weeks ago I talked about some possible DLC news for The Division 2 following a news article which said the same. Now we know that's not what we got, or if you haven't seen it, that's not what we got, and instead we got a 4.5 minute segment explaining the rubber duck Easter egg in The Division 2. Today I wanted to talk about a pretty big missed opportunity here, and surprisingly a little optimism. Leave your own comments down below, drop a like and subscribe for Division content, and with that said, let's start. Now, in most of my videos I would start with the content I wanted to talk about first, because it makes sense to put it in that order. You have the content that you'll want to talk about first and then you talk about it afterwards. It doesn't make sense to put the content at the end after you've already talked about it. But to be honest guys, for this video, I would lose you all within the first 2 minutes if I did it that way. So instead, I'm going to put the footage of the rubber duck explanation at the end of this video. It's about 4.5 minutes long, so you can just skip to 4.5 minutes towards the ending. You can watch that first and then come back to this, or you can just watch it afterwards, guys. It's completely up to you how you want to do that. So let's start off with the very minimal amount of optimism that I have. Now, the reason I have this is because there is going to be more Ubisoft Forward shows confirmed in the live stream yesterday, and I believe there's going to be more this year, so that does mean there is more opportunity for us to actually get some news on upcoming content for The Division 2. And whilst it might not feel like it, there is going to be more content worth talking about in the future. There is going to be a year 3 DLC. That's not been confirmed, but I'm 100% sure that we are getting a year 3 DLC. Whether Skyscraper comes with that or before, I don't know at this point. What I wouldn't do is hold my breath that we get anything soon. But I'm pretty sure we're going to get something soon. No, I'm not. I'm not sure. But hopefully we get something before Christmas at least. Optimism out of the way though. I've got a bit of a confession. As much as I was hoping there would be some news about upcoming content for The Division 2, even after watching, or actually after seeing the news article that I covered some weeks ago, I didn't watch the live stream because I just knew it wasn't going to happen. And I kind of guess that tells you everything you need to know about my belief in the game right now. It's actually really sad for me to have to admit that, but I've got to the point now where I don't even expect the bare minimum in terms of content for this game, and it's increasingly hard to cover with any kind of real enthusiasm. But less about me though. I do think the devs missed a huge opportunity here to tease upcoming content, whether that be content before the end of the year or for the year 3 DLC. The Ubisoft Forward live stream I didn't watch, but now that I'm seeing the video on YouTube, at the time of me making this video, it's nearly at 600,000 views. So that's 600,000 people the devs could have teased with some upcoming content. But on reflection, I guess that's assuming there is any content for the devs to actually show. And I guess the problem is, aside from Skyscraper, which I don't believe will be coming until March of next year when we get the year 3 DLC, there's no other content planned aside from the seasons. And if there is, there's no way of us knowing, because Ubisoft, unfortunately, they have a system where they never like to commit to any kind of long-term plans, unlike what Bungie have done for Destiny. They don't like to have kind of yearly plans, and I think the community urgently needs some sort of game plan, some sort of roadmap, if you will, like what we can expect and when we can expect it. Otherwise it kind of just feels like nothing new is going to be added. And you can say a million times, we're working on this and this is coming, but after every week and every month you don't talk about that, then there's no real kind of plan. It feels like we're not getting anything at all, and there's no hype around that new content. The devs have said before that other content outside of the seasons is being worked on and will be coming, and I do believe this, which is why I thought the Ubisoft Forward event would have been the perfect platform to tease something. There's no doubt in my mind we're going to get some substantial content. The devs wouldn't spend week on week iterating the core gameplay experience to not add anything else to the game. But, it's hard to think of that now. It's hard to believe we are going to get anything new anytime soon, especially because we've got plenty of examples in game of reused content. Season 2 has less content, if you consider Season's content, less content than Season 1. It's got 4 global events, only one of which is a new global event. And I think that just shows how few people are actually working on content in the game. Another reason why any new content is, taking way longer than we are all expecting. I don't want to go on and on, but I think we're all on the same page here. If you're still loving the game, then good for you. I still enjoy playing it from time to time, but honestly cannot put in the same amount of time as I did with The Division due to the lack of content mainly. And plus, you know, PvP is not quite there, and I played a lot of PvP in The Division. If I wasn't playing the PvE stuff, then I was playing the PvE stuff to get the stuff for PvP, and that's not there with this game. So that's a huge chunk of gameplay that I put into The Division 1 I'm not putting in to The Division 2, and I know the devs are working on it. They say they're working on PvP, but again, there doesn't appear to be any real urgency to even adding anything new to PvP, and the problem is as well is they're working on stuff, right? They're always working on the gear, they're always working on how to fix the loot, they're always working on how to fix PvP, and until they fix that stuff, they can't add anything new. Now I'm hoping that Skyscraper changes the amount of time that I'm playing, and you guys who may not be playing as much anymore play as well. And I'm hoping there is more replayable content, not just, you know, Skyscraper, you know, more gear, weapons, skills, apparel, more of everything really, but replayable content being number one. Sorry guys, I kind of went negative, and that's the last thing we need right now. We need to be as positive as possible. So in terms of positivity, we do know there is new stuff coming to the game. We don't know when, of course, but we do know it's coming, and that's good to hear. Of course, it would have been nice to maybe see a tease for Skyscraper. You know, that would have been really cool. Even just, you know, a brief image of maybe the location where it's going to happen. And if you go on the forums right now, people are talking about where it might happen, and I've seen some good suggestions on the Skyscraper that might be used for the new mode. But any kind of little tease would have been excellent. I guess it's the reason they haven't is because they haven't quite got there yet. Which, you know, is a shame, but ultimately, at the end of the day, if they're working on their content and they want it to be as good as possible, then that's fine. And if it takes longer as a result, again, that's fine. I would like to see maybe some more news on upcoming content. We know that State of the Game's not coming back now until August 5th. So on August 5th, we'll probably learn more about Title Update 11, which again will be, I believe it's going to be more of like a balancing type update rather than a content-based one. But we might hear news in August of upcoming content for coming towards the end of the year. Unfortunately, we know that seasons are going to last until March of next year. We did have the seasons leak as well, which explained what all of those seasons are. And of course, with every season, we're going to be getting new gear and new weapons, new named items, and all that sort of stuff. But the devs did say they are working on content outside of seasons, and in my mind, that means we're going to be getting content outside of seasons. I hope that doesn't mean that we're working on content outside of seasons to come next year rather than during the 4 seasons we're getting for this year. I don't know, of course, no one knows, and we probably won't know until about 2 or 3 weeks before it's due to come out. But yeah, that's just the way it is. But that's it for today's video, guys. Now I am going to be putting out a video on Wednesday. Now normally I would do State of the Game recap, but because we haven't got State of the Game for the next 3 weeks, then I won't be able to do that. So instead, I did do a part 1 on Title Update 11 and what changes we'd like to see. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do another part per week. So this week will be part 2, next week will be part 3, and then the week after that will be part 4, and that will give the devs maybe a good idea on what the community wants. And as usual, I'll pull out a post asking from you guys what you want to see, and I'll refer back to the first post that I put out, seeing what you guys said about what you wanted to see for Title Update 11, and we'll put those into videos. But that's it for today's video, guys. Thanks very much for watching. If you do want to see the stream, the Ubisoft Forward 4.5 minutes of the duck, then you can see that now. But if you don't, then that's it for today's video, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Until the next one, Epic out.
Running through collapsed buildings, climbing over fallen debris, and encountering makeshift living spaces is common for players of The Division 2. Within its post-pandemic environment, many players have spotted something a bit more unusual, which has left them asking, what's up with all of these rubber ducks?
So there's a thing in programming especially where you talk to a rubber duck, and it's a way to solve your problems. If you talk to a rubber duck and you just say things out loud, it helps. One of our artists decided to take this to another level, and he used the rubber duck scaled up to like a ginormous scale and put it in the level just to remind him to do something. And it sat there for a while, and the rest of us kind of really loved this giant rubber duck sitting there for so long. We decided to put little memorials to it across the world. what started off as little memorials, and then we started adding stories to them. So there's one where these two ducks are sitting on a bench having a date together, and there's another one somewhere where he's sitting with an umbrella hiding from the rain. The idea of the ducks is similar to the rest of our storytelling, where we're trying to add some hope into the world. You're coming in as a Division agent to try and save what you can and rebuild, but you need to know there's something there to save. So having bits of happiness lets you know like it's still worth saving for these little happy moments.
One shrine in particular became a beloved fan favorite, showing up multiple times across YouTube and Reddit.
So, Karen, how was your day?
Well, Luke, it's been productive.
So the origin story of productive, one of our level designers made an amazing pun one day, and we decided to make a graffiti out of it and put it in the game, and it became like a duck shrine, and players started finding it and wondering where it came from.
We've been finding these rubber duckies all over the map. It says here on the wall in graffiti, productive, and there's a large rubber ducky, bigger than all the other ones we've found, and he's got bottles of booze all around him. Not only that, but he has a couple soldier duckies guarding a parrot in a cage. But there's more just like this in the Division 2.
Players within the Division 2's community organized and began exploring and cataloging the locations of these ducks.
What's really great about our community is they come together. They find a common thing that they want to develop or find or get unlocked, and they just put time and effort into it.
We don't put them in easy to find places. So that means players are genuinely, hopefully enjoying just exploring the environment and finding all these little Easter eggs we've hidden around. And also not the Easter eggs, just the main part of the game and all the storytelling we put into it. They haven't found all of them. I don't know exactly how many there are, but they haven't found all of the ducks yet.
Encouraged by the community's response to the ducks, developers recently hid another secret in the game and made it the focal point of an all-new community challenge.
We actually put Tommy the Teddy Bear into the game. So Tommy the Teddy Bear is a trauma teddy mentioned in a lot of lore, but the bear itself actually was not in the game. With episode 3, we put a bunch of them into the world, and then we teased that he was there and got players excited about it and actually opened up an Easter egg hunt for him specifically.
Players took to this challenge quickly, finding all 13 of the bears in an incredibly short amount of time, earning a unique in-game reward.
It's a nice little exciting moment when you kind of open Reddit and you see someone's found the thing that you kind of just snuck in under the radar and no one really knows about it. And some of the players are really clever. There's some hard Easter eggs that some of the level designers and gameplay designers have put in, and people have managed to solve it with no help whatsoever. Gamers are smart.